Hey guys, Tiny Tom Logan back with another video for you, and today we're going to be taking a look at the PG348. Now, all of these code numbers and stuff, none of us can ever really remember what they're called, and well, even I have to end up Googling them to find out the proper code numbers. So essentially, what is it? Well, it's a new ROG Swift. It's IPS, it's 3440 by 1440. It's a 34-inch super wide Gsync gaming screen, and it's probably the most bonkers screen that ROG have done yet. There's loads of details on it and it reads like an absolute dream list. But the reason why I'm sat in front of it is I wanted to show you just how enormous the box was before I actually get a look. So I'm filming this before I've even seen it. So if you don't mind, I need to bust this box open and get some gaming done. Okay, so our first look at the monitor itself, and it is actually, from this side, quite subtle, apart from the craziness that is that base. And that base, it's mental, and I will show you the laser or the projector or the light or whatever you want to call it. But another good thing that we can do while we're here with my lovely camera is show you that really nice bevel line. This one here, and it runs right the way across. You go past the Asus logo and then it comes out again. It's just a really subtle line, and for those people out there that are interested in like upgrading your house and all that type of stuff, it kind of feels like a bit like a shadow gap to me, because it does just add a really nice shadow aspect onto the front of the screen. Now, when we do turn the it on in a second, like I said, I will show you that base. So maybe a strange angle to show you monitor, but as you'll see later on, this will sit quite inbound on your desk. There's quite a lot of depth to this screen, and that's a mixture of, you've got quite a wide or a deep stand. Even though you do have this short leg at the back, it will sit quite far into your desk, but you've obviously got this where we've got the curve, you've actually got a bulge in the screen as well. It's not the thinnest of monitors. It obviously does look like it's a really fat and deep monitor, but you just don't realise that it does curve in quite a lot. So that's also something to think about if you've got limited desk space. I would personally say this is absolutely perfect to put on a corner desk. As we come slightly further round, we can see that the detailing in this monitor really does start to come through. And I have got, before you wonder, this back section, which is, we'll go in here. We'll put it in here just to be able to, well, no, we'll leave it off. Oh no, we'll put it on. Off, on, come on, Tom. Off, on, come on, Tom. Sounds like something Thomas the Tank Engine would sing. There we go. Right, so I've put it on, so you can see it does really clean those lines up. I just had it off to make it simpler for when I build it. But the detailing on this monitor is something that I've personally, is to a level that I've not seen before. Yes, we've got this lovely three-pronged base, and there is a lot of adjustment on the actual the mount itself, and you can move it up and down, but we'll talk about that later on. But it's all of this kind of detailing around here and around here. It really does just stand it out and make it feel and look like something far more special than I'm personally used to laptops being. I mean, look at this. This is literally just exquisitely designed. I mean, exquisitely designed, maybe that's a little bit too poncy, but it's just the fact that it's not just plain plastic, and they've bothered to go to all this effort to make it look and feel far nicer. I mean, while we're around here, this is the menu button that you're going to need to press to bring the OSD up on the screen, which we'll show you again shortly. And these are your selector buttons. And to be honest with you, normally with laptops, when I first get them, I find myself struggling to find out where they are, and you know, not 100%, and you're always fiddling around. And this was actually just one of those ones where you do just end up going, oh, all right, it just feels intuitive, and it wasn't that much of a shock. So that gets a bit of a thumbs up for me, because like I said, normally I really struggle with that type of thing. Bit of an obscure way to look at it, but it's actually a really difficult one to get a decent camera shot for. So we've got a display port here, HDMI, then we've got USB 3 in, and then you've got two USB 3 connectors here, so you could really neaten up your desk if you really wanted to. And then on the other side you've got a headphone and your power in, which is just kind of over here. So that's your headphone, and the power in's just on the other side. But obviously once you've fitted all of your stuff, you have this lovely shroud that you can put over everything, and it clips on, and then you've got this little cutout for everything to poke through, and then you've got all of this, it all matches up. And to be honest with you, it feels a bit Death Star, you know, the detailing on the Death Star, Death Star, and then also like the Borg cube, that's another one that's it's very similar. I really like that, and like it's going to be a shame to almost hide this when you put it against your wall. Something I have been asked a lot about is monitor mounts, and can I put it on a stand and all that type of stuff. Obviously, if you do decide to do it on this, you're going to need to make sure that your monitor stand is going to be able to cope with the weight, because it's obviously not just a small screen, it's a big wide screen. There's a lot of weight there. You can look in the specs on the Overclock 3D website to see the full weight of this, but there you have it. You can put it on a mount if you want, but it almost seems a shame that if you do that, that is then going to end up living in a box somewhere and losing the light. But anyway, if you wanted to, the option is there. Okay, so the laser kind of light projector, whatever you want to call it, at the bottom of the screen itself, yes, we finally get to see it on. Now it has got 4 settings, well 3 really. You've got 3 brightness settings, but you can disable it all together in the OSD for the screen itself. With the OSD for the screen itself, you just reach around to the back of the monitor and find the little joystick that I spoke to you about before, and it brings up your settings that we've got. You've got overclocking, GameVisual, blue light filter, color, image. We'll just go in, for example, and we can show you some of the settings. Obviously input select, system setup as well. In here you've got the light in motion, which is what we were on about. Also, one thing I will say is the sound comes turned down, so for those of you strangely that end up wanting to use the panel for your audio, then you will want to go in there and possibly turn it up again. But the most interesting thing in here I found personally was the overclocking. Now it does come basically set up for a 60 refresh, and you have to go in and do what you appear would be overclocking the panel to get it up to that 100 refresh as well. So if you're running Gsync and you have got it with your set up with your NVIDIA and everything, you will need to do this, but you do need to go a stage further as well, and I'll show you that. So you go into your screen settings, you can just right click and go to change resolution, and it brings you to the right kind of section. Then you go to advanced settings, and it will bring up this little pop up, and then you go into monitor, and then you'll have a screen refresh rate here. And one of the things I found, I did need to do a restart between the two, but you will need to set this because otherwise the screen and the operating system won't be talking together nicely. So you'll probably find that you'll have to set the screen up, restart your system, come in here, set it to whatever setting you want. As you can see, we've got 50 Hertz here, up to 100 Hertz, and then you'll need to apply that, and I would probably restart the system as well. So if you do want to go for that full 100 Hertz, there are a couple of little stages. It's with it on Windows 7, which we're still on with the graphics card test rig. I've not managed to test it on Windows 10 yet, but it's just something to keep in mind. So don't go thinking that it's broken if you've bought one. Stop that RMA. You may need to just give it a quick tweak and set it up. Other than that, we do have the GameVisual, so you can go in and make some settings to the basically it's the colours, and it's like a bulk change for the colours. I've been using mine on FPS mode, but you can make some changes depending on what one you want, so like racing mode and all that type of stuff. Now obviously me making the changes here is not going to make a great deal of difference to you at the end. I would base that on your own personal usage. And the other one, which is really quite nice, is the blue light filter, because this can be quite damaging for your eyes if you're using it for long periods of time, or you end up using it as a professional screen. I've personally really benefited from this on another Asus panel that I'm using. So I would, if you are there for long periods of time, I would seriously give this a look, especially if you're like me and you were suffering with headaches or having eye problems. This could help you out greatly. Oh, it's disappeared. You just need to press the button again though if you want it to pop back up again. If you do want to get rid of it, nice simple way is you've got the buttons down the back. You can just smash the exit button. You do have the crosshair and all that type of stuff, which was what come up then. There we go. Crosshair, timer, FPS counter. So you've got all those kind of Game Plus options. Ooh, Thomas, come on, sort yourself out. So crosshair, timer, and FPS counter if you want to run through those. So screen itself, and I'm just going to show you this way it is powered on, so you can get an idea. Is there is an awful lot of adjustment that you can have for the height. As you can see, there's an awful lot there, and in total from the desk that goes up to 190 millimeters and then goes down to a height which is about 75 millimeters off of the desk. You've got a lot of tilt that you can do there as well, to the point where I could pretty much use that stood up at this present moment in time and just look down at it. And you can also put it down quite a fair bit as well if you were to be using this, if you were to have it above you. But something that it does do, which I've never quite understood why you would want to do it too much, is the fact there is an awful lot of twist, and that's not even all the way around, it's actually hitting the desk. But one of the things I would like to say is the shorter leg at the back of the screen, as I've shown you previously, is actually, it can, I'm just going to smash the lights up a bit, it can be really helpful because if you have a look, it is actually it does sit an awful lot forward compared to a lot of other monitors because of the size of those feet, and the actual front of the screen is actually in the middle of my desk. So from my desk is a total of 600 millimeters wide, and I would say that the front of the monitor, even though the back leg is touched here, is actually 350 millimeters away from the back of the desk, so 35 centimeters. So it does sit quite a lot, quite far forward is what I should say. Right then, peeps, so we're going to talk about the award, and then we will go into it and we will discuss it, and we'll also do a little bit more of the review in here as well, because it's a bit difficult with the monitor. So it's good that we can just come in and have a chat and have a bit of a chit chat about it, because at the end of the day, the stuff that I'm filming to try and show you is all going to depend on the YouTube quality that you've got it set on in your own personal monitor. So it's probably easier for me to just verbalize it for you. Right, so it's a bit of a swinger really, because it's definitely Gold Award worthy, but normally this might have slipped into something that we would have given a performance award because it's an exceptional price. But it's also quite, the super wides are still quite a new thing, and there are a few around. But anyway, we did decide we were going to go with the Gold Award, but we did think about the performance because of that price. But at the end of the day, it's not your average run-of-the-mill monitor. And if you're looking at something like this, then the only people that are going to moan about the price are probably going to be the people that really can't afford it. Now, yes, we would love everything to be cheap, but then if everything was cheap, we wouldn't have to work as hard, and we probably, at the end of the day, and this is we'll end up philosophy or whatever it's called, but maybe we wouldn't work as hard, or maybe we wouldn't appreciate things so much. I certainly know that I appreciate something when I've had to work that little bit harder for it, or save that little bit longer for it. Anyway, it's not exactly a PC review, is it? Anyway, so 34-inch super wide. One of the things I can say is I'm not a humongous gamer. I'm personally about the hardware and the way things look, and my career now, as you can call it, is trying to help you guys make informed choices with your hardware. So I try and steer you away from what I think are the wrong things, or I try to pummel you with the information so that you can make your choices on whether it's the right or the wrong choice for you. Now yes, this is an exceptionally priced monitor, but one of the things that you do need to think about is you're going to spend a lot of time literally just staring at it. So it's something that you should, obviously you need to get your rig prepared in the first place, but a monitor is a pretty big upgrade that you do need to be thinking about at some point in time, and it's probably going to stay with you for at least one iteration of a complete rig rebuild, I would have thought as well. So it's a long-term investment. So that can appease the people that may be moaning, oh, it's £1,000. Yes, it is £1,000, but it's going to last you twice as long as maybe some other components in your rig, like a 980, for example, which could be sat in your rig, owing you £400 or £500. It depending on when you bought it, obviously, but that your graphics card is more than likely going to get replaced at least once during the time that you may end up owning this. So, you know, there are arguments for and against. Now, the super wide aspect of it, I have to admit, I originally thought to myself, I'm not going to like this, because despite the fact that I use 3 screens on a daily basis for my workstation, Orca, you know, essentially it's just my how I do my work. When I move on to the gaming, I don't like it so much. I find I have to sit a lot further back, and then you can never get a desk wide and, you know, deep enough. And I personally have never enjoyed that. So I was a bit skeptical about this. But when it did arrive, I jumped on with some of the OC 3D forum members, and mainly be a basic game, but it was just something I wanted to spend a good few hours playing this. So we were playing Rocket League. We were just messing around, and it was really nice. And one of the things is, I actually really enjoyed, and I want to say bonded with that wide nature. And it actually surprised me, because I didn't think I personally was going to enjoy it, and I thought I was going to have to be putting myself in your positions to try and think about certain things and discuss it with other people. I have had a few other people come and sit in front of it as well and think, you know, it's going to be like sitting too close in front of a telly, but the curve does seem to make a lot of difference. You do just get comfortable with it. So despite that, we're going to say that super wide, if you're umming and ahhing about it because you're not sure and you're worried about those kind of aspects, I think you will be quite at home with it. The IPS panel, let's face it, IPS is where it's at. The colour quality is nice on this. I didn't get, you know, loads of ghosting or anything like that, thanks to the fact that you can smash that refresh rate up as well. Set the colours up how you would like them, and I promise you, you're not going to be disappointed with it. This is literally a really nice panel, and although the camera gets a bit stressed because there's a lot of colours here, Wraith actually designed this. He's one of the forum members. And the camera can get a bit spaz about it because of the brightness coming out of the screen, but the reds on it are lovely and deep, and the blacks are really, really nice as well. Now, the actual design about the rest of it, with the little laser and all around the back, this screen is almost that much of a display piece that you almost need a desk with no back, so that, and by no back I mean not against the wall, so that you can kind of get around it. You know those big kind of American style offices that you see on like Suits, for example, when you walk in and they're sat on the other side of the desk, and you can see the backs of the monitors. This all, you know, deserves to be displayed to the point where you almost want to put a mirror behind the monitor so that you can see all that lovely detailing. It's kind of taking the point of a monitor and dragging it that little bit further and adding extra aesthetics to it, making it extra, you know, that little bit nicer. So it is an EP monitor, and it does carry a high price, but dear God, I can't help but want one. And it really, when it comes to a point like that, when I was genuinely looking forward to it turning up, but as I was opening the box, I was getting more and more excited and like, oh, that looks amazing, and oh, they've done that, and they've added all that little design to it, and they're all aspects which, if someone's had to take the time to do it, it's going to add price to the manufacturing. It's literally just a ludicrously pretty and high performing monitor. So yes, you can buy, you know, other cheaper monitors. Obviously it's £1,000, you can buy cheaper monitors out there, but if that's the type of thing that you're looking for, then you're kind of missing the point. This is a monitor that's special, you're going to enjoy having, you're going to want to brag about having, and you're just going to constantly enjoy sitting in front of it. So that's the reason I was picking my remote up. So that's the reason in the end why we decided that performance award was almost kind of marking it down a little bit too much. And we did think about innovation as well, because like I said, they've taken that design aspect that little bit further with it. We felt, again, innovation wasn't quite doing it justice. So what you need to remember is we are enthusiasts, bringing it to you enthusiasts, and we know there's a lot of excitement out there in the market about this at this present moment in time, and there's a lot of people lusting after it as well. So we wanted to make sure that we had done the justice with the award, because it thoroughly deserves it, in all honesty. So the only little niggle is, yes, you're going to have to save up a lot of beer tokens. Do I think you should? Well, if your rig can handle it, then yes, I think you should. The other really nice point about this is because it's not quite, it's obviously not a 4K screen, because it's got not quite a 4K width, but then it's narrower as well. It's actually kinder to your system requirements as well. This is almost like a wide 1440 screen rather than the mahoosiveness of the 4Ks, which I personally still think at this present moment in time pushes the system requirements that little bit too far, and we've not quite got to the hardware to be able to thoroughly cope with it yet. Whereas now we're obviously saturating the possible nature with most kit of 1080. 4K, you're still kind of like, you know, trying to get there and trying to get those frames second, and it just costs so much money to do it. This is a really nice stopping point or middle ground between going from a 1440p and then going up to your full mental 4K setup. And like I said, I do like that bit of width as well, because one of the things I've always said is I think 4K screens, for the detail and stuff, the 27-inch ones are just, or 28-inch ones are a bit small. So to be able to go up to this width, you know, smash some extra pixels on, but keep that 1440 height, I think is absolutely tip top. So it certainly pleased me. I'd like to think it will please you. I would love to know your thoughts underneath about the monitor, what it stands for, how it looks, the performance, all of that kind of stuff, because I always read the comments as well. I may not reply to everyone like I used to, but with all the videos I've got now, I literally would get no other work done, but I would love to hear from you. Also, if you are interested, go and discuss it on the Overclock 3D forums. You can even talk to Rafe, who made that. He's one of the long-standing ones. He's like, honestly, he's part of the furniture. He's like the dirty chair in the corner that the dog always sits on. Anyway, so yeah, go and join the Overclock 3D forums. If you do have problems with your activation email, then just use the contact us button on the bottom of the forums, because I personally manage that. Or tweet us, or, you know, say something to me on Facebook and I can manually add you. It's just some issues that we've been having with your emails, talking to our forums properly, because a lot of them have been getting bounced back. But anyway, that's enough of that. Screen is amazing, gold award. Really don't want it to go back, but I only get it for a few days. So it's my last night with it. I think I may need some privacy. So for now at least, I'm going to go and spend my last few hours with the Asus PG348 curved IPS gaming Gsync. It's all of the EP. Out.